Okay, and right before the message that indicates, that's from your mother that we just talked about, Best Buy called.
Okay.
There's a message that says, "This is so sweet." Who is
Objection,
that
Your Honor.
message to?
Objection.
Hold on, what's the objection?
Hearsay, Your Honor. Item is in evidence.
That's sustained.
All right, can you say who the message before the Best Buy message? Who did you send that message to?
It looks like I sent that message to my brother.
Your brother Charlie?
Yes.
All right, and that message was deleted as well?
I always delete my messages. But yes, it looks like I deleted it at some point.
All right. And that message, what were you referring to in that message, if you know?
I have no idea.
But it was sweet, whatever it was.
I mean, 8 years ago, I have no idea what was sweet.
So
She has no idea what was sweet 8 years ago.
So now it's time to play everyone's favorite game. What's
so sweet? The question is, Wendi, 8 years ago, on July 18th, 2014, what was so sweet? Is it A, a cookie? B, a milkshake? Or C, the impending murder of your ex-husband? Take the time to record your answer now. If you said C, you are correct. Tell her what she's won.
Get ready for a night on the town in exciting Miami.
All right, what's next?
We have a text from Wendi Adelson to Charlie Adelson stating, "This is so sweet."
We see that that's deleted.
It is, yes.
That would have also been deleted prior to law enforcement analyzing her cell phone that afternoon, the same day as Dan Markel's murder.
That's correct.
Sending the "this is so sweet" text with absolutely no context is bad enough. But deleting it is even worse.
All right, and that message was deleted as well?
I always delete my messages. I always delete my messages. I always delete my messages.
Our last interaction wasn't nice.
Oh, you talking about personal?
Yeah, I'm just looking here. I didn't want him to take the boys this afternoon. I had wanted to have them. And I talked over with my brother and realized, just their dad wants to take them swimming. It's not worth getting upset over. It varies. Sometimes he has breakfast with him. I got the call from him, it was 9:04, I think, right. So he must have already just dropped them off and was probably driving from school to the gym, and that's why he was saying, going to this class, I'll touch base with you after.
Okay. All right. And then no contact after that?
We had some texting contact. That's when I was saying that my last contact wasn't very nice. I was saying, well, I wanted to pick them up at 3, and he was saying, well, you are only allowed them after 4:30, and I was like, well, what about last week? I picked them up at 5, and he said I was just being nice, and I said, I guess nice was fun while it lasted.
Okay.
That's the last thing I said to him.
Okay.
Whoa. I'm gonna need you to back up just a touch. Because what I thought I just heard you say was,
I always delete my messages.
But then you were just looking through your phone at what? A text?
We had some texting contact. I'm just looking here. That's when I was saying that my last contact wasn't very nice. Our last interaction wasn't nice. I was saying, well, I wanted to pick them up at 3, and he was saying, well, you are only allowed them after 4:30, and I was like, well, what about last week? I picked them up at 5, and he said I was just being nice, and I said, I guess nice was fun while it lasted.
So, what you're saying is that you deleted what you are trying to pass off as a completely innocuous text to your brother at 8:12 in the morning, but then kept what you yourself characterize as a not nice interaction with your ex an hour later?
Sure, Jan.
And then Rashbaum, of course, tries to trivialize the entire event, except as usual, provides absolutely nothing to help try to discredit it.
You then have a text from Wendi Adelson, which says, "This is so sweet." Do you remember that?
Yes.
Could you tell that it was a picture?
I don't know that it was a picture.
LOL, because it wasn't.
Okay. Do you know what it was?
Just a text that said, "This is so sweet."
And that ominous text, scary text, that was also deleted, right?
It was, yes.
Oh, really good point, Rashi. Thanks for confirming that Corbett remembered the text, verifying that it lacked any context or pictures, and mocking the connotation of it. Rashi's entire technique for cross-examination only serves to reaffirm any and all points made by Georgia and Sarah on direct. To me, it seems pretty clear what this text is about. We really need to look at the history of this timeline to best assess the true meaning of this text. The point in which we have reached by the morning of Dan's murder. This hit has been unsuccessfully executed at least once, but more than likely twice. So Wendi has gotten her hopes up for this several times over the past few months, expecting this murder to take place only to be let down when it hasn't been accomplished. If we are to believe Rivera, her anticipation was so great that she was stalking Dan's residence to assure that this would be taking place. A theory that I believe is corroborated by her visit to the crime scene just after the murder takes place. I'm sure by the time that she actually believed that today was the day, she could not contain her excitement. Texting Charlie, "This is so sweet," supports her elation. I also believe that this was supposed to be a WhatsApp message and not an actual text. I feel like Charlie likely prompted the deletion. And his subsequent 18-minute phone call was likely to help subdue her and contain her excitement, encouraging her to relax and just stick to the plan, and soon all of her problems would be solved. Of course, Wendi categorizes this phone call as brainstorming with Charlie as to what she should do about the TV repair.
Okay, who was at your house this morning?
The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy, because my TV was broken and it's under warranty.
Good for you.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, a guy from Best Buy was at your house to work on your TV?
I have his name and everything at the house if you want it, because the boys broke the TV, so he gave me a choice of fixing it or getting a new one.
What time did he come to the house?
He called me at around 8. He was probably there until around 10.
Okay. Okay. And then you
and then after he left, I kept working on a paper.
All right. So you're at your house with the repairman. He leaves. You go back to working on your papers, and then you leave your house around noon.
What was wrong with the TV that was repaired the morning of the murder?
I think one of my boys might have thrown something at it. There was like a little crack in the TV.
How long had the TV been broken at the time that it got repaired?
I honestly don't remember.
Could it have been a long time, quite a long time?
No, it could have been, I mean, I would be completely speculating. I don't remember how long it was broken for.
Do you remember who repaired the TV?
Yes, it was called the Geek Squad.
Do you remember the window that the Geek Squad gave you for when they were going to be at your home to do this repair?
I do. I think they said it was 8 to 12 or 9 to 1, something like that.
Okay. Would you agree with me if I told you it was 8 to 12?
That sounds right.
All right. And do you recall what time the repairman actually arrived?
No, but I remember they came on the early side.
Okay. And was the repair done?
No.
Why not?
Because I called my brother to find out how much a new TV would cost versus how much the repair cost, and it didn't make sense to repair it.
It's cheaper to buy a new TV.
Yep.
The records indicate the repairman was there for about 45 minutes. Does that sound accurate to you?
Sure. That's my best. Sure.
Why was he there for that long, just to tell you, like, this thing can't be repaired, or it's cost prohibitive to repair? Do you remember?
I don't. My guess is he was there to try to see how he could repair the TV, and then he gave me an estimate, and then I found out what the estimate compared to the cost of a new TV would be.
Who paid the repairman?
I did.
The repairman, you're familiar with his statement that you seemed really upset that day. What were you upset about?
I have no idea.
Were you upset that day?
I don't remember being... Oh, yes, I was upset that day. I was upset. I remember Danny wanted to take the kids swimming, and I wanted to pick them up earlier in the day.
Okay,
and
so nothing to do with the TV.
I don't think so. I probably wasn't that upset about the TV.
Did you talk to your brother on the day of your ex-husband's murder?
I did.
And about what time of day did you speak to him?
It would have been right after the repair guys were there, because that's when I called him to tell him, ask him whether I should get the TV repaired or buy a new TV. So It would have been morning.
How long did you talk to him?
I don't remember.
Does 18 minutes sound incorrect?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Did you talk to him about other things other than just the TV?
I really don't remember what else I talked to him about, but probably. Maybe I would have asked him about his work, or we would have caught up.
Did the information from Wendi Adelson's forensic extraction or her Cellbrite report, so we're able to see other things that were contained in her phone. And one of the first things we see is that she had a calendar entry for that day for listed as fixed TV.
Now we see that it's deleted.
Yes.
When would that have been deleted?
Sometime prior to our analysis of the handset.
And your analysis of the handset was done that same day?
It was done, yes, the afternoon of the 18th.
Okay. So this calendar event, fixed TV, was deleted at some point before her phone was taken by law enforcement and looked at that afternoon?
That's correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then we see that there is an outbound call from Wendi Adelson to Donna Adelson.
And that's starting at 8:09 in the morning?
That's correct.
Okay.
An immediate return attempt, and then a text message. Again, this is from Wendi Adelson's handset itself, but there is a return text message or a text message from Donna Adelson to Wendi communicating about Best Buy and coming by for the repair of the TVs.
Okay, she says, Best Buy just called me and I told them to confirm with you. They are on their way over now to help you with the TV set in your living room.
Yes.
Okay. All right, what's next?
We have a text from Wendi Adelson to Charlie Adelson stating, "This is so sweet."
We see that that's deleted.
It is, yes.
That would have also been deleted prior to law enforcement analyzing her cell phone that afternoon, the same day as Dan Markel's murder?
That's correct.
Okay, what's next?
An attempt from Charlie Adelson to call Wendi Adelson. And then a return call from Wendi Adelson to Charlie that lasted just over 18 minutes.
Okay, let's go over this timeline a little. So When asked how long the Best Buy guy was at her house, Wendi tells Isom he called around 8 and left at 10. But Georgia, who clearly has the accurate information from the Best Buy guy himself, likely with the electronic records of his time, states that he was there for 45 minutes. A clear discrepancy, but on which end? From what I've found, they tend to call you about 30 minutes prior to arrival. I have an appointment today between 12 and 8 p.m. Is someone going to call me a half an hour or so before the appointment? Anonymous asked 3 years ago on the Best Buy site. We were notified 30 minutes before arrival, answered Jesse. I have an appointment between 9 and 7 today, September 17th. Can you give me an approximate time you will be here, please, to install a new TV and printer? Thank you, K. Stark. Anonymous, 7 months ago. One unhelpful. You didn't deserve that, K. Stark. So that would have put the Best Buy guy in at 8:30 to 8:40 and had him leaving around 9:15 to 9:25.
Okay. And was the repair done?
No.
Why not?
Because I called my brother to find out how much a new TV would cost versus how much the repair cost, and it didn't make sense to repair it.
It's cheaper to buy a new TV.
Yeah.
And then a return call from Wendi Adelson to Charlie that lasted just over 18 minutes.
Did you talk to your brother on the day of your ex-husband's murder?
I did.
And about what time of day did you speak to him?
It would have been right after the repair guys were there, because that's when I called him to tell him, ask him whether I should get the TV repaired or buy a new TV. So
Okay.
It would have been morning.
How long did you talk to him?
I don't remember.
Does 18 minutes sound incorrect?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Did you talk to him about other things other than just the TV?
I really don't remember what else I talked to him about, but probably. Maybe I would have asked him about his work, or we would have caught up.
So Wendi is really trying to say that the repair guy was there for 45 minutes trying to decide whether or not to fix the broken TV. And then she needed an additional 18-minute long consultation with Charlie to make that determination. A literal 30 seconds on Google would tell you which way you should go. Let's actually take a look at what I was able to find online. Taken from the Best Buy site itself, I have the 2-year Geek Squad protection plan on my TV. My son hit it with a toy, and now the pixels are messed up. They will do something to fix this, correct? I couldn't purchase a separate accidental plan with it. The TV hasn't had time to collect dust yet. Asked by Best Buyer 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure they will, but I wouldn't explain to them what happened. Just tell them something's wrong with your TV, and that's it. Right, because I'm sure the repair guy will never figure that one out. The same thing happened to me about 2 weeks after I purchased the TV with a 5-year warranty. They came out, took a quick look, and we were firmly denied. If there's any evidence of damage that the free warranty through LG doesn't cover, neither will Best Buy. No reason to buy the warranty. Answered by Nope 6 years ago. Wait, what did you say? They came out and took a quick look and you were firmly denied? Didn't you mean to say that they stayed there for almost an hour to try to fix it? No, I just took my TV back, which had an internal screen damage, and they told me that the warranty doesn't cover screen damage, and I would have to pay for a whole new TV, answered Jane Doe. Huh? The repairman told you flat out that they would not repair this TV? And just told you to buy a new one? Odd. Warranties on TV do not cover physical damage. Whoa. Warranties don't cover you punching the TV? What? Nope. Basically, it only covers malfunctions not caused by the user. totally worthless in my opinion. Beyond frustrated, and I feel like my money was taken for nothing. Mom of toddler terrorist 4 years ago. 8 helpful, 2 unhelpfuls. Sorry that your terroristic toddler regularly kamikazes himself into the TV set. Maybe he should be weaned off of screen time and we can think about a TV when he's older. Best Buy does not cover accidental damage. Do not buy a TV from Best Buy. I got screwed too. Find a TV with a warranty that covers accidental customer damage, usually offered by an independent seller, like Beach Buy from Anonymous a year ago. I'm not sure who Beach Buy is, but I'll be sure to give them a try. If you tell them that you physically damaged a TV, then that's on you. Warranty's meant to cover things that are out of your control, like part failures, power surges, etc. If your kid hit the TV, that's not Best Buy's fault. Sorry, but that's how they'll see it. Your best bet in a situation like this is just tell them that the TV isn't working correctly without mentioning the whole thing with your child. If you admit fault, you basically give them every reason they need to deny the claim. Nappy D. Bingo. And most people should know this. It would also say what is covered in the warranty paperwork that they gave you. Or if you lost it, you can always look it up online. My grandson did the same thing with his new TV. We bought the 5-year warranty, but it didn't cover accidents. They then tried to sell me a different warranty for $200. That was more than the TY cost. I won't buy any more warranties or really any big items from them. So it seems like across the board, the consensus is that Best Buy warranties do not cover you breaking your own TV. Well, in that case, maybe we should see what they do cover. Benefits of Geek Squad protection for your TV. We make house calls for TVs 42 inches or larger. You'll never pay for parts or labor. So you don't pay for the Geek Squad to come out for a repair?
Who paid the repairman?
I did.
We will take care of 100% of the cost of parts and labor. You will never pay for it, ever, Wendi.
Who paid the repairman?
I did.
Okay. If your screen has bad pixels or a shadow image, we'll correct it. If your TV won't turn on because of a power surge, we'll fix it. If the remote that came with your TV stops working, we'll replace it. If there's a failure from normal wear and tear, we'll replace it. You can transfer your Geek Squad protection when you sell or give someone your covered product. Your Geek Squad protection is still in effect with no additional charge restrictions. Accidental damage is not included. Accidental damage is not included. What? So then I was actually curious what the actual price of repair would be. And here we see it varies depending what type of screen you have. LCD screens being the cheapest from $60 to $475, and the OLED screens running the highest from $100 to $1,000. Additional costs would be diagnostic fee, in-home service call fee, and pickup and delivery. The diagnostic fee for in-home TV repair service from Geek Squad costs $49.99 for Best Buy members and $99.99 for non-members, plus the cost of parts and labor to fix the issue. Some Best Buy membership includes a 15 to 20% discount on repair labor. But Wendi mentions over and over that the TV was under warranty, and that's why she asked them to come look at it. Cracked TV screen repair. You typically cannot repair a cracked TV screen. In some cases, a technician can replace the panel, but the repair is often cost prohibitive, and you're better off buying a new TV. Cracked TV screen repair costs between $300 and $1,500, which typically involves replacing the entire front panel, and that's just for the part alone. The total replacement cost could reach $2,000 or more once you factor in labor time. My God.
Wow.
And then this was an interesting and ironic find. My brother threw his shoes and cracked my TV, and now I'm over here trying to find me a TV repair shop for the low price.
By CharlesTV.
Bruh.
That reminds me, actually, Jeff testified about what Wendy's TV looked like.
Okay. So let's go forward a little bit to this TV situation. Do you know anything about Wendy's TV being broken?
I do.
And when was the TV broken, if you know?
Between June 11th and 18th, I think it's closer to the 11th, but 100% in that week.
And how do you know it was in that week?
Because we rented a movie, How to Train a Dragon 2, to give the kids a special movie night, and I have text messages where I'm discussing having seen the movie by the 18th with friends.
So you were able to refresh your memory?
Yeah, I was able to
by going
refresh
through
my
those?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so do you get the movie, or?
Well, it was back in the day. It was Redbox, so I rented a DVD from a Redbox. It was 2014.
All right, and go over there with the movie, and what happens when you arrive?
I walk in the door, and Miss Adelson asked me to look at her television because there's something wrong with the television.
And what was wrong with the television?
Well, I turned it on, and I was immediately confused because it really shouldn't have been a question. As soon as you turn the TV on, it's been struck by an object and is damaged and basically unusable.
Can you explain what the damage looked like?
Yeah, it looked like somebody stood in front of it, took their fist, and hit it like that, was my first impression.
So kind of like a shatter mark with spiders.
Yeah, there's like an impact crater, and then there's, out from that, and it's all pixelated and distorted, which makes it very difficult, or really no one would watch this TV unless you had to. And I had second thoughts about that. I looked around the room. Maybe the kids broke it, so I looked all around the room, and it didn't seem plausible that the children broke it. They're very small. This object had to be kind of heavy. I'd thrown a ball around with them. I just couldn't see how the kids could have done it.
But you didn't see how it got busted.
I didn't see it. I didn't know for sure, and I didn't know we'd be discussing this in a murder trial, so I didn't investigate further or think about it very much,
Sure.
to be honest with you. I just thought, okay.
Were there other TVs in the house?
There was a TV in the back bedroom, a similar make and model, that we had watched television with the kids before on that TV before, so yes.
Is that where you watched the movie that night?
No, I went to go hook up the DVD player in the back room. Miss Adelson insisted that it would not work and actually stopped me from even trying. So thought that was very odd, but I didn't want to argue, and it's her house, her TV, her kids, so I said, okay.
So did you watch the movie on the broken TV?
Yeah, we gave the kids movie night where we watched a movie on a broken television that was distorted enough that you could follow what was happening, but the kids are whining and crying the whole time. And I wasn't whining or crying exactly, but I was tempted to because it was pretty frustrating, and I just didn't understand, what was going on. And of course, I had related that this TV is broken, it's unwatchable, it's not covered by warranty, you're gonna have to get a new TV, and I offered to go do that for her anytime she wanted. She's a busy single mom. I'll run by Best Buy, get you a new TV. It was not like a 80-inch TV or something that was really that luxurious. It was a TV like you'd see in a dorm room, so we could have replaced it right away.
All right, did you end up getting a new TV?
No, she turned me down several times on that offer, and again, it's her house. I tried to respect her boundaries, and I said, oh, okay. But it was inconvenient because after dinner, it's nice to be able to put the kids in front of that TV while you clean up the dishes and stuff. And it sat there being an inconvenience for a while.
All right. I want to ask you about when is Ms. Adelson's birthday?
April 22nd.
Okay.
Earth Day.
I've got this out of order.
And I have crossed all of Trescott to find you. your name. They have stolen the heart from inside you, but this does not define you. This is not who you are. You know who you are.
A fucking monster. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother Earth herself, Wendi Adelson. So, Wendy's claim is that she had to talk to Charlie about if it made sense to fix the TV or not. But from everything that we've read about, and according to Jeffrey Lacasse's testimony, it seems pretty clear that there was no fixing the TV. So, what on Mother Earth were Wendi and Charlie talking about for 18 minutes the morning of the murder? Thankfully, I was able to get a hold of the recording of this phone call, and I will share it with you now. Hey, Wendi, what's up? Hey, big bro, what are you up to? Not much, not much. Hey, real quick, I'm going to give you a call back from my landline. Oh, yeah, perfect. Good idea. Call me back on mine. Hey. Hey there. Okay, that's better. What did you text me this morning? What? Oh, this is so sweet. The murder is finally happening. Yeah, Wendi. I don't know if this line is safe. Let me switch over to the other landline. Okay, my purple phone is way safer. Wendi, you can't say stuff like that over text. I'm just so excited, Charlie. It's really happening. What was that? I think I just heard something. Let me switch lines again. Okay, you need to delete that text right now. You can't be so careless. I'm sorry. I meant to send it through WhatsApp. I'm just so excited. I didn't realize. Whatever. Just get rid of it. Is the repair guy still there? No, he just left. Already? That's not good. Did you try to hypnotize him with your blue eyes yet? Yeah, and he wasn't even fazed. He just kept saying, I have to get out of here. I've already told you this can't be repaired. I was trying to stall him, so I told him the remote was broken, but it took him about 2 seconds to realize that the batteries were out of it and that I was holding them. Shoot. Okay, don't worry. Just work on some papers. Make sure you're saving them every few minutes to your computer. And then be sure to send out some emails to show that you were home. Oh yeah, great idea. And I'd probably make plans for later today to keep yourself busy. Good idea. Let me text Janine and Ritu and see if they want to do lunch. A whole delicious lunch. Okay, good. Hey, Wendi, let me switch you over to my shoe phone. Don't forget who the maestro is. We got this covered. As long as you're nowhere near the crime scene, they can't pin anything on you. Oh man, I almost forgot. I need to pick up something for the Stock the Bar party tonight. What do you need to get? It just says wine or liquor or something bar related. There's this bourbon called Bullet Bourbon. That would be hilarious. Switching to an old-timey phone now. Oh my god, that's so funny. Let me write that on the invite. It's spelled Bulleit. Oui, oui, fancy, Bublé, like the singer Michael Bublé. That's Michael Bublé, Wendi. Hello, same thing. So I'm going to work on my papers, send some emails, swing through Chescott, and go buy bourbon and meet the girls for lunch. Hold on, our connection is bad. I'm switching to my Zach Morris phone. Whoa, way better, Mama. I must have had a really bad connection, because I could have sworn that I heard you say you want to drive by Trescott. The statistical probability of anyone seeing me is like 1 in a million. I'd say it's closer to 1 in 10,000, but still, you can't go to Dan's house. It's not like I'm gonna stay there. I just want to go check. Wendy, don't blow this for us. Hold on a minute, I'm getting another call. Talk to me. Oh, hey, Mom. Hi there, Charlie. Ma, I got you on three-way with Wendy. Oh, hi, Wendy. Oh, my little sunshines, today's the day. I know. Yeah, Ma, did you make sure that you called us from your brick phone? Oh, no. Give me a second. I'll call you right back. All right, is that better? No, I can't hear you at all. Oh, whoops. I'm using an actual brick. Let me call you back on my banana phone. All right, my darlings. Ma, you gotta tell Wendy she can't drive to the crime scene. Oh my God, Charlie, stop being so lame. Charlie, I don't see why she can't go. No one's even gonna be there. It's summertime. Everyone's on vacation. That's what I said. Fine, Wendy, go. Yay! But seriously, if you see any cops there, you just gotta do a K-turn and drive right away. God, Charlie, don't be such a downer. Wendy, I swear to God, you better not get us caught. Kids, everyone just calm down. There's no need to fight. And you know they would never arrest a lawyer, a surgeon, and a domestic coordinator. See? Yeah, I know. You're right, but what is she going to do if it's all taped off? Well, I suppose she could just say she thought it was an electrical storm or a tree fell or something. My little Wendy. Such an excellent actress, aren't you, sweetie? Thanks, Mom. I've been practicing a bunch. You want to hear? Sure, darling. Go right ahead. I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared! Great job, Wendy. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Thanks. All right, well, I'll let you go. Dad and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Okay, Mom. Yeah, I'll tell you as soon as I know. Okay, let's do the family cheer. Even if it is a sin, the Adelsons will always win. We will say this is so sweet, the Adelsons just can't be beat. Go Adelsons, yeah! All right, I love you too. Love you, Ma. Love you. That's the redacted version. So clearly, Wendy's explanation about figuring out whether or not this TV should be fixed is total BS. Let's please watch Ison's reaction to Wendy telling him this nonsense.
And the information from for Best Buy for the service tech that was there, that's at your house?
I'd be happy. I mean, if someone wants to
we'll
come back
get
with
that.
me.
We'll get that. And that was basically from when he came out there to serve, well, I guess to replace the TV.
He came out to fix it and then told me that what was wrong with it wasn't fixable.
Right.
And so I called Charlie to find out, should I buy a new one or should I fix this one? And he was like, just buy a new one. And
And once he left, do you remember what time the serviceman left?
probably around 10, a little before 10.
Isom knows what's up. He says to her, so the TV guy came out to replace the TV. And then he laughs out loud when she corrects him to say, actually, he came out to repair it.
He came out there to serve, well, I guess to replace the TV.
He came out to fix it and then told me that what was wrong with it wasn't fixable.
Right.
And
Isom may not be a TV repairman, but he's also not an idiot. Another thing that's so off to me is how many words Donna crammed into that text to Wendy.
And then a text message. Again, this is from Wendy Adelson's handset itself, but there is a return text message or a text message from Donna Adelson to Wendy communicating about Best Buy and coming by for the repair of the TVs.
Please listen to how Sarah Dugan even reads it out loud. It's so funny.
Okay, she says, Best Buy just called me and I told them to confirm with you They are on their way over now to help you with the TV set in your living room.
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, she said sets, which I'm sure is just a typo, but I still want to make fun of it. Here's the actual living room from where Wendi was living at the time on Aqua Ridge Way. And it's kind of hard to see, but the TV's tucked in right over here. Boing. Donna's making it sound like it's this.
Best Buy just called me and I told them to confirm with you. They are on their way over now to help you with the TV set in your living room.
Honestly, though, knowing Donna, I'm honestly kind of surprised that she had that much restraint. And she didn't just say, Best Buy just called and is sending the Geek Squad repairman. I told them to call you because it's your TV. We just bought it for you. They're on their way to your house to fix the TV sets in the living room that one of the boys broke when they threw a toy or something into it. Because it's under warranty and it should definitely be covered. P.S. Don't get nervous. I'm not talking about something else in code because TV isn't code for anything. I promise.
All right, let's go to the day of Dan Markel's murder. What were you doing that day?
I was at home that morning. I was working on a couple of pieces of writing. I was waiting. I remember the Geek Squad was coming to fix my television. I think
Was that the same television that your brother had purchased for you as a divorce gift because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman?
It was the television that my brother had bought for me.
All right. And did your mother, Donna Adelson, arrange from Miami for the Geek Squad to come to your home that morning to fix the TV? Would it refresh your recollection to review some text messages regarding that issue?
Hold on a second.
Objection, Your Honor. Improper impeachment. The witness gave an answer.
Overruled.
Counsel, can I take a look at
I'm looking at the items in yellow, but feel free to review the whole document.
Yeah, I don't really understand. It's my best recollection that I set up the appointment for them to come.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes this happens now where there's a different number on the account, so they call the wrong account. So they could have called my mom and she would have said, no, call my daughter. They need to confirm with you.
Okay, but your mom does indicate that she is sending the guy to your
No,
house.
she indicates that she was called by Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
So that means she was called by accident since they were coming to my house.
Okay. And did you have an appointment scheduled in your calendar, fixed TV?
I did. I thought they were supposed to come sometime between 8 and noon. And then they came pretty early, I think, 9 or something like that.
All right. And did you delete, shown on the far right column there if you need to refresh your recollection, but did you delete that appointment to have the TV fixed?
I'm usually kind of OCD about this. So after I have a meeting, I'll delete it if it's done. I use my calendar kind of like a to-do list. So I'll have the meeting and then I'll delete it.
Okay.
So I must have deleted it once they arrived or sometime later.
Okay. And who made the arrangements for that TV repair?
I did.
Your mom didn't make those arrangements?
I don't believe so.
Did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
Did my brother buy me a TV as a divorce present?
Yes, sorry, I should have clarified that. And was the TV that your brother bought you as a divorce present the same TV that was being repaired on the morning of the murder?
Yes.
Did your mom text you that morning that the repair guy was coming to repair the TV?
I don't remember that.
Why would your mom have been involved in your TV repair appointment?
Because I didn't purchase the TV. The TV was a gift that my brother paid for, but my mom went and got it and he reimbursed her. So the contract would have been under her name and her number. So when the repair guy was coming, they might have called or texted the number on the account instead of my number.
Okay.
So Wendi seems pretty confused. She doesn't agree that her mom set this appointment for her. And then only a couple years later claims to not remember the text at all. Thankfully, Daddy Rashbaum clears things up for us. The amount of dead air produced by Rashi's disorganization is actually insane.
Let's talk a little bit about Best Buy. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm showing you what's marked for identification purposes only as Defense Exhibit 29 and 30. Looking at Defense Exhibit 29, does that refresh your recollection that the warranty was under your father's name for
Yes.
that TV?
Mm-hmm.
A warranty with the Geek Squad?
Yes.
Now, before you look at Exhibit 20, do you recall that your mother scheduled the appointment for the TV to be fixed with this Geek Squad?
I remember that I scheduled it, but it looks like she scheduled it and gave me the number to call in case I needed to reschedule it.
And in fact, she emailed you on July 11th and told you if you can't keep the appointment on the 18th, call this number to reschedule it, right?
Yes.
You can put that aside.
This trial would have probably taken half the time if Rashi just had his paperwork together when he went up for a witness. I swear that Daddy Rashbaum was secretly hired to work for the state. He provided the evidence for what Georgia was trying to prove, that Donna was setting up this appointment from Miami. Wendi insisted that Donna had to be the one to call since the warranty was under her name, which becomes completely irrelevant once we realize that it's in Harvey's name. But still, it didn't make sense to me that Wendi wouldn't have been able to make that repair appointment for herself. So I decided to call Best Buy and find out for myself.
I'll get a Best Buy team member to help you out. Your call may be recorded and monitored. Please hold for the next available agent.
Hello, thank you for calling Best Buy. Kevin speaking. And how can I assist you today?
Hi, I just had a quick question I would hope you could answer. My mom bought me a TV
And I was wondering, I have the warranty info on it. Would she have to make that appointment, or could I make that appointment? Since I think the warranty's in her name or my dad's name.
Okay. So the TV is under the Geek Squad protection?
Yes.
Okay. So either one of you can technically call. It's just a matter of they're going to look up the warranty itself and basically confirm that it is under that protection.
Okay.
So you just have to give the number that they used.
All right.
And I can get you over there if you like. What's
Okay.
wrong with the TV?
Yeah, that was my next question actually. One of my sons threw a toy at it and the screen is cracked. I think it's like a
That's not
47
covered.
inch. Oh, it's not?
No, the Geek Squad protection does not cover physical damage on TVs. Covers everything but.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
So
thank you
in
anyway.
this particular instance, the TV would just have to be replaced. It wouldn't even be cost effective to try to fix it.
Okay, like you wouldn't send out a guy to come look at it or anything?
So if we were to send the tech out to the home because it's a broken screen, it's automatically going to be a charge of $150,
Okay.
not including the screen and labor to install it. And if it's only like a 43-inch TV,
Mm-hmm.
that $150 is more than half of the cost of the TV,
Okay.
most likely.
All right. Okay, well, I appreciate that information. Thank you very much. You've been super helpful.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling Best Buy. You have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Weird. So as long as Wendy knew her parents' phone number, then she was good, right?
You know their number. I do know my family's number.
Well, then, Wendy, you could have called. Oddly enough, they also ask you what's wrong with the TV prior to coming out. In fact, the other Best Buy I called went as far as telling me they wouldn't even attempt to do the repair.
The TV, one of my sons actually threw a toy and broke the screen. Would that be covered under the 2-year warranty?
So that unfortunately would not be covered with the service plan.
Okay. Could you still send somebody out to look at it, or?
But they can send someone out to look at it, but they don't do any type of repairs on when the screen is damaged.
Oh, okay. So they don't do repairs at all?
Not when the screen is damaged, no.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not covered with the
Okay.
plan.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
I ended up going to Best Buy for my new TV and was so happy to see this. I was just about to leave when somebody recognized me. Wendy, why do you always look like you just freshly murdered someone? So they would just send someone out to humor you and just let you pay the tech to tell you what they told you on the phone already. But since they needed this for Wendy's alibi, I'm sure Donna either lied or insisted that they came out anyway. It would be interesting to see the Geek Squad notes on that. I think there are a couple things that pretty obviously point to the fact that this was an alibi-only appointment. First and foremost, it being under warranty is a completely moot point.
Okay, who was at your house this morning?
The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy, because my TV was broken and it's under warranty.
Easy for you.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, a guy from Best Buy was at your house to work on your TV?
I have his name and everything at the house if you want it, because the boys broke the TV, so he gave me a choice of fixing it or getting a new one.
It's not covered with the plan.
No, the Geek Squad protection does not cover physical damage on TVs. Covers everything but.
This would have been information that she would have had prior to the appointment. Or if Donna didn't disclose what the issue was, The repair tech would have likely told her within the first 1 minute of being at her house.
I turned it on and I was immediately confused because it really shouldn't have been a question. As soon as you turn the TV on, it's been struck by an object and is damaged and basically unusable.
Also, the fact that Jeff repeatedly offered to replace it for her. And the way that it sounded to me, he was offering to do so as a gift. But she repeatedly refused to let him do this.
And of course, I had related that this TV is broken, it's unwatchable, it's not covered by warranty, you're going to have to get a new TV, and I offered to go do that for her anytime she wanted. She's a busy single mom. I'll run by Best Buy, get you a new TV. It was not like a 80-inch TV or something that was really that luxurious. It was a TV like you'd see in a dorm room, so we could have replaced it right away.
All right, did you end up getting a new TV?
No, she turned me down several times on that offer, and again, it's her house. I tried to respect her boundaries, and I said, oh, okay.
And granted, the cost of TVs in 2014 were a little bit higher than today, but not a lot. Back then, you would be paying between $200 and $500 for a 43-inch TV. So the TV would have been able to be replaced for just a little more than what the repair guy cost. But I guess when you're doling out $600 an hour to a divorce lawyer, paying $150 for an alibi is chump change. In a June 26, 2013 email from Donna to Wendi, Donna shows us in black and white that she was paying $600 an hour for her lawyer. And the irony is not lost on me that the very next line after Donna mentions this $600 an hour lawyer that they chose, she starts to boo-hoo about Wendi's lawyer not getting alimony for her. Pick one side of the fence and stay on it.
After Dan Markell was killed on July 18, 2014, law enforcement interviewed Wendi Adelson. And Wendi Adelson acknowledged that her family had a motive to kill Dan Markell, or to want him dead. She admitted that her brother, the defendant, had even said that he looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markell as a divorce present to her, but he decided to buy her a TV instead because it was cheaper. And coincidentally, or not, that TV that this defendant bought his sister as a divorce gift instead of hiring a hitman would be Wendi Adelson's alibi for the morning of the murder when the victim was killed by a hitman.
And in September of 2012, Wendi filed for divorce. And you're going to hear about how she filed for the divorce, and you're going to learn that Charlie had no involvement in her leaving the house. Had nothing to do with him. But we got to talk about TVs. And you're going to hear a lot about TVs in this case. See, Charlie has a really bad history of telling bad jokes. So when Wendi left the house, his mom told him that she didn't have a TV. He asked her, he said, "What can I do to help Wendi? She's moved to a new place. She's left most of the stuff behind. What can I do to help?"
I'm helping.
His mom said she didn't have a TV. He said, "Okay, when you go to Tallahassee, go to Best Buy, buy a TV for Wendi, and I'll pay you for it." And so Wendi got the TV, and she called Charlie. This is back in 2012. The murder's in 2014. And she thanked him for the TV, And he didn't say he looked into hiring a hitman. He joked, a bad joke, and he said it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
Oh, good one.
Now, not only was it a bad joke, but you're going to hear in this trial, Charlie repeated the joke. He repeated it a lot to a lot of people. You're going to hear that he repeated it as late as March of 2014. So the man that they think hired a hitman is joking to others about hiring a hitman.
Exactly.
Puzzle pieces. And you're going to learn why his repeating of that joke is going to be so important. I'm going to tell you in a little bit. Keep in the back of your mind.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. Okay. I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Right to jail.
What I say here is that he would never do it. Right under the highlighted part, I say no, he would never.
Need a copy?
Page 25, line 5 through 15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
I know that Wendi thinks her cool and casual demeanor is the most appropriate way to behave. But let's genuinely think about this from the perspective that she wants everyone to believe. The scenario: your ex-husband gets murdered. While speaking to the cops, you disclose this completely harmless joke that your brother happened to make, that inadvertently, but horrifically enough, lines up perfectly with how your ex was actually murdered. You and your brother are extremely close and are both innocent of committing this crime. Flash forward to almost a decade later. In an appalling set of circumstances, your brother gets arrested and charged for this crime. A crime that you know he didn't commit. And as you're sitting on the witness stand, the prosecutor throws your very own words in your face. Words in which, at the time of saying them, you were only trying to be helpful and transparent. Words that now have come back to haunt you and your family in such a devastating way. Words that, in large part, are the reason why your poor, innocent brother is facing life in prison for a crime that he had nothing to do with. So now, as you sit in court, the prosecutor reads those words back to you and asks you if it's true that you brought up your brother as a suspect on page 25 of the transcript. Honestly, what would be more of a fitting way to respond?
I did, but my God, he had nothing to do with this. I'm absolutely sick over it. Never in a million years would I have thought that it would have led to this. I can't believe you are here, Charlie. I'm so sorry. I will never forgive myself for what you've gone through. There's absolutely no way that he will ever be found guilty. This is a witch hunt, and there is not a shred of evidence that points to him. We already have a team of lawyers, and we will be suing the living shit out of anyone who has had a hand in this.
The courtroom gallery stirs and chatters uncomfortably. The judge bangs his gavel, trying to regain some semblance of order. As you are dragged out of the courtroom by guards, you continue.
TPD, Leon County, the state of Florida, you will not get away with this miscarriage of justice. You have forced my brother to suffer. They won't get away with this, Charlie. I promise.
Or,
I did. Is it fair to say that during the year or so leading up to the murder of Dan Markell that your brother did not like your ex?
I mean, I don't think he probably didn't like him, but I also think he didn't spend a lot of time thinking about him.
Did he ever like him?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got along fine.
she says while shrugging her shoulders and continually shaking her head no.
Did he ever like him?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got along fine.
That sounds very believable, yes.
Like Dan Markell? And again, I'm referring to the time frame before his death.
I mean, I think he was also, he would listen to me when I would tell him about things I was upset about at the time with the divorce. So whether he liked him or didn't like him, he certainly was supportive of me.
Okay, but he never expressed any dislike?
No.
Did he mention hiring a hitman to kill your husband?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No.
Did he ever joke about he looked into hiring a hitman, but buying you a TV as a divorce present would be cheaper?
He did make that joke. He tended to repeat himself, and sometimes he would make jokes that weren't very funny about all kinds of things.
All right, and was that TV, did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
He did.
And was that TV the same TV that was being repaired at your residence at the time that your husband was murdered?
It was.
How convenient. Is it fair to say that in the time frame leading up to the murder of your ex-husband that your brother did not like your ex?
I think it's fair to say. I mean, I also think it's fair to say he wasn't particularly concerned with it. He was leading his own life and not really focused on mine.
But your mom was really focused on yours.
My mom was focused on mine.
And your mom was in the ear of your brother quite a bit, same as she was with you, right?
I don't know about how much she was in his ear or not.
Did your brother ever mention hiring a hitman to kill your ex-husband?
He never mentioned hiring a hitman. He told one bad off-color joke where he said he had bought me a TV when I got divorced and said it was a present and made a very bad joke and bad taste, that it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
And was I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's okay.
What else were you going to say?
I think that was it.
All right. Was that a joke that your brother made one time or more than one time?
He has a tendency to repeat himself. So everything he says multiple times.
Do you know how many times he said it?
I have no idea, but definitely twice at least.
And it was your understanding that he had not made any actual efforts to hire the hitman?
Yes.
But you did get a TV as a divorce present?
I did get a TV.
Now, you had described your brother as a talker. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think I described him as more of a joker than a talker, but he does talk.
Do you remember the circumstances under which he made that statement that the state talked about hiring a hitman, but instead I got you this TV? Who else was around when this statement was made?
Well, he tends to repeat himself, so he kept repeating that joke because he thought it was funny.
Okay, but do you remember the time frame of when that happened? Like, was this way before, during the course of your divorce, or was this after?
It would have been when he bought the TV.
When he bought the TV. And that would be after the divorce?
Well, not after I filed for divorce, right? But not after the divorce was finalized. So sometime after, I really don't remember when I got the TV, but maybe sometime starting with the fall of 2012, sometime around then, but it could have been 2013.
All right, let's go to the day of Dan Markel's murder. What were you doing that day?
I was at home that morning. I was working on a couple of pieces of writing. I was waiting. I remember the Geek Squad was coming to fix my television. And I think
Was that the same television that your brother had purchased for you as a divorce gift because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman?
It was the television that my brother had bought for me.
All right. Did your brother ever mention hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel?
No.
I'm going to turn your attention to your law enforcement interview, and I'm referring to page 25, lines 13 through 15. Cindy, I'm going to tab 1. Start this tab here.
Okay.
All right, so page 25. You find it?
Yes.
Quote, "It was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV." Is that what he said?
That was a joke that he made, yes.
And hiring the hitman, that was to kill Dan Markel, right? That was the joke.
That was the joke that he made in poor taste, yes.
Not to kill someone else.
No. Well, he never used his name.
Okay. Well, he's hiring you the TV because it's cheaper as a divorce present than a hitman. Who else would he be hitting with the hitman?
I never really thought about it because it was not a thing that he meant. He just made a bad joke.
Well, you repeated the joke, didn't you?
He repeated the joke.
Didn't you also repeat the joke?
To other people?
Yeah. Bruh. Yes, like Jeff Lacasse.
I never said that to Jeff Lacasse.
You didn't tell Jeff Lacasse that your brother got you that TV as a divorce present because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
I may have repeated that joke in the context of the TV, yes.
All right, and who is Jeff Lacasse?
Jeff Lacasse was a person I dated in 2013.
And did you tell Jeffrey Lacasse shortly before the actual murder that your brother really had looked into hiring a hitman?
I did not.
Did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
Did my brother buy me a TV as a divorce present?
Yes, sorry, I should have clarified that. And was the TV that your brother bought you as a divorce present the same TV that was being repaired on the morning of the murder?
Yes.
How convenient.
Did Wendi Adelson ever make a joke in your presence about her TV?
Yes, ma'am, she did. In October of 2013, the first time I went to her house on Aqua Ridge, and we were going to watch a movie, she made a joke which she characterized as her brother's joke, but she was the one telling it, that, her brother had looked into hiring a hitman, but a TV was cheaper. And I heard her repeat that joke at a later occasion.
All right. So you heard that joke a couple times.
At least twice, yes, ma'am.
All right.
Another thing I wanted to make clear is that statement, the joke that Wendi made about, oh, my brother had joked about looking into hiring a hitman, but got me this TV as a divorced person. It was cheaper, right?
Well, that's the joke, not what I would call the chilling statement.
Right. I'm talking about the joke.
Yes.
She told you that he said that the summer that they were divorced, right?
Say that again, please.
That would have been in the summer of 2013, correct?
I don't know when the joke started. If Wendi told a joke once, she was one of those people, you probably hear it 10 more times. So I don't know how long she's been telling that joke, how many times she told it.
But you'd agree with me that if, based on what she's saying to you, that they would have been around the time of the divorce that he made that representation or
Yeah, I
joke.
just don't know when she started telling that joke, although I heard it for the first time in October of 2013.
Okay, and you have no idea when he met Miss McDonald, right?
Who's he?
Charlie.
Sorry. No, I don't know when they met.
And that one time that you were sitting there with Charlie, did he at all, I think you had mentioned it, he was vocal too? They were talking about Dan Markel in the hot tub?
He made some comments about Dan Markel that I can't recall word for word, but it was clear he was not a fan, that he was very upset with Dan Markel. Yeah.
I'm sure we've all known someone who says something super off-putting, and then when they get a negative reaction, retorts with, "It's just a joke." Ugh. I feel like most of us are probably pulling examples from middle school right now, because that's usually the maturity level where most people engage in this type of behavior. I really feel like this joke hit on a couple different cylinders for Charlie. One, he could use it to gauge people. If on the off chance after telling that joke, someone replies, "You really should have hired a hitman. Dan's a jerk." That gives him the opportunity to say, "Listen, don't tell anybody this, but I did." And then him and the sicko that he's talking to can high five and chest bump. And two, he's able to really talk about this thing with the joke as the layer of protection. I know Charlie's exact personality type. I know this made him feel like such a big man. This made him feel powerful. This made him feel untouchable. This made him feel like God. To him, this is the biggest display of wealth and power that you can have. To be able to pay someone to snuff out someone's life and then use that same wealth and status to avoid getting caught. That is really the ultimate power trip. And Wendi felt the same way. She had the wealth, the status, the job title, plus her feminine wiles as an added bonus. It's clear just from her interview with Isom and listening to what Jeff Lacasse says about her that using her looks is how she gets her way. We can even see this in the courtroom as she lays on the heavy, coquettish, innocent baby character. Trying to look cute and charming is very clearly more important to her than coming across as believable. Both of them lack impulse control, and the joke gives them a gray area to openly discuss this horrific thing, seemingly without any repercussions. Let's really talk about the context of this joke, though, because it makes absolutely no sense. What in the world does a TV have to do with a hitman? I could see you saying, "I bought you brass knuckles or an alarm system or a gun because that was cheaper than hiring a hitman." All of those things pertain to a level of protection or self-defense and kind of makes sense in terms of getting that instead of having to kill your ex-husband. It would even make sense if he said he got her a dog instead of hiring a hitman. Because again, that's something you could use for protection. But a TV makes zero sense for the joke, which only further solidifies the fact that it is not a joke and just a way to openly talk about the plan to kill Dan Markel. And the actuality that this TV was broken and then used as part of Wendy's alibi is just. But my joke theory seems to be 100% proven by what we will hear that Wendi confided in Jeff Lacasse.
Was there anything unusual about her behavior that evening?
Well, she made a very strange statement to me at the house.
Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, so we're walking into the house and we're having chit chat, and she says, "Can I tell something to you confidentially?"